Hi everyone, welcome back to my channel. If you're new here, my name is Rachel, and in this corner of the internet, I make design and lifestyle related videos. If any of those topics interest you, consider subscribing and hit that bell for notifications. In today's video, I'll be making a logo from scratch. Designing a logo from scratch is kind of the same process as redesigning a logo, so if you want to see any of my videos where I do redesign logos, I have a playlist card that you could click on up here if you're interested. Now I'm an art director for a nonprofit organization called Asians in the Arts, which supports Asians in the creative field. One of the other directors from a different department in our organization came up to me and asked if I could do a logo for an upcoming project that they're working on that'll come out pretty soon. So without further ado, let's get started.
Some more background on the organization I'm involved in before we start designing. Asians in the Arts was established in the summer of 2019, and its mission is that it exists to encourage Asian diasporic representation in all artistic fields by celebrating existing artists and narratives of Asian diaspora. On our organization's website, you'll be able to find interviews, news on upcoming releases or events from Asian artists, opinions on Asian representation, reviews of books, movies, music, etc., as well as art, fiction, and poetry. On social media, we give updates on the Asian artistic community, both from mainstream media and big-named creatives to making an effort to publicize and give a platform to lesser-known Asian artists. Lastly, we also have a sign called the Asian American Art Sign that rolls out new content once every 2 months. Our sign is full of interviews, articles, fiction, poetry, and art made by both us and our audience. Now for this upcoming new project we're working on, it is called Asian Artist Marketplace and Directory. This marketplace is a way to allow more visual artists to share their work. With a marketplace, you'll be able to find artists, information about them, pictures of past and current work, and a link to purchase their work if they're currently selling. With this, I began researching on the shape, look, and details of Asian market stalls in order to help inspire me when I started sketching. Had there been an event around my area, and well, if COVID wasn't a thing, it's also good to do some field research by actually exposing yourself to what you're going to be working on in person. Okay, so the words that we're going to focus on making this logo, it needs to be modern, simple, and bold, which also fits with the branding of Asians in the Arts. Now, since the actual project is a very long word that needs to be for the logo, Asian Artist, Marketplace, and Directory, I want to focus on making this logo a lot more focused on the typography rather than other visual elements, but I do kind of like the combination mark, so I am going to include a little market stall that's going to be with the word section of the logo. So as you can see, I'm kind of focusing on the composition of the logo. The square is basically where, or square rectangle is basically where I have the idea of putting the market stall with the words. So I'm just playing around with different compositions right now, trying to see which looks most pleasing to the eye and easy to read. So you see I have it on top as well as onto the side, and I even tried thinking of maybe putting the wordings in the middle of a shape. Now, since I had already, I think it was like 6, I could have counted wrong, excuse my math, different types of logos in the front, I kind of felt pretty good with those, so I decided to already go ahead and try kind of sketching out how the market stall design is going to look like onto with the typography of the logo. Now, since I wrote down modern, simple, and bold, I really wanted to focus on line art and kind of make the market stall a lot more like an icon design instead. Iconography. So here I am just kind of playing around with different ideas of how the market stall can look like. I made sure to kind of stick with the whole Asian artist marketplace stall because it is for Asian artists. It's marketplace themed. Can't get more literal than that. So I just kind of tried different tents. I even tried those, I guess, stalls that you can wheel around. I also had things where I placed items on the inside. here is me just kind of testing it out to see like how it would look with having the icon marketplace stall next to one of the compositions I've written out on the other side of my sketchbook. And then I'm just playing around again with size this time, and also just differences in how the stall is gonna look. So still wasn't satisfied with all of the little icon designs that I've been doing, so I kind of went ahead and kept trying different types of designs. Okay, and then I pretty much just kept going because I wasn't satisfied with the shape still. Still thought maybe I could do better, and I could maybe like blend in different designs together that I already previously drew out. And then I just tried one more final design before I decided to go ahead and kind of play with the composition of the logo again in the front, just for more variety, and because I was starting to see that maybe the wording was still a little too long with how I stacked it, just having a little demo illustration of the logo that I had on the backside of the sketches that I had. You know, the one with the different icons.
Okay, so in terms of the whole composition, the ones that I like the most that I think are more promising are more of when I start putting the icon of the illustration of the market stall on the side as opposed to having it under. I just think it's a lot more balanced if I had it like arranged this way. Now I do kind of like the way that I arranged this, having Asian artist and then marketplace and directory separated like that, just because it's such a long line, just having it out straight across. I don't like it like that. And the thing is that the directory is so much longer than Asian artist, placing it like this, that I kind of tried and messed with it by having it stacked this way instead of having it like Asian artist and marketplace and directory, and then trying Asian artist, marketplace, and directory that way. I don't know why I tried doing that. Thought it maybe would have looked nice, but looking at it now, it doesn't look good at all. So I think I'm going to try and mess with these three compositions when I move onto the computer. And then as for the market stall, I played around with different ideas on how it's supposed to look like. I wanted it to resemble the market stalls that you see in Asia, so I was kind of messing around of what kind of icon design would look best with the line illustration, or line art, I guess, that would place next to Asian artist, marketplace, and directory. So you can already kind of see it here, me trying to play around with it. I was trying to figure out how simple I wanted it to be, either if I want to have items in it or whether I just wanted it to just have the outline of the market. And so I think I could try a combination of both. I really kind of like to play with this one right here and this one, and then kind of like combine the two together and see if maybe that would work well. This design actually doesn't look so bad for it, as well as this. As you can see, I have a lot of different options. However, I think this is a little too much, you know, when you have the items on the inside. So I think if I just have it standing alone without the items in it, that should do well. But I do think I kind of want to combine the two, having this a little bit more angular just so it can have the A's in artist and Asian. So I think that it would kind of just go a little bit more cohesively and just a little bit more smooth to the eye.
And there's just all these little synchronicities? How do you even say that word? I don't know. Sure, I can try it again. Let me try it again. Synchronicity. I don't know. I'll have the word like somewhere in the corner as to what I'm trying to say, if you don't understand what I'm saying. But yeah, I think that'll be good, and when I put everything into the computer, it'll be a lot more smoother and refined looking. So yeah, we're gonna go more for this shape to match the A's a little bit more, and I want to play around seeing if maybe these types of Asian marketplace tents or stands work well with what I have going on right there. So it is time to move on to the computer. Okay, so let's get started on Adobe Illustrator. So right now I'm just pulling the branding colors of Asians in the Arts, as well as kind of referencing the fonts used in the brand, just on the side. So right here I'm kind of typing out the name of Asian Artist Marketplace and Directory, and I'm kind of just playing around with the two fonts. I wanted to do a sans serif font to keep that modern and simple look, as opposed to having Ocean Rush, so I did Helvetica, and I also tried Arial Black. I ended up liking Helvetica better, except I wanted it bolded just to kind of have a more striking look. So here I am just kind of fixing the plus sign to use as the and just to level off in the center of the E as well as the D, just so it looks a little bit more uniformed. And then once I have the arrangements of the compositions that I liked, that I put down in my sketchbook for how the wording should be, I ended up going ahead and working on the icon designs of the market stalls. So I just went ahead and looked at my sketchbook and kind of just refined the pieces, illustrating them here with the pen tool, as well as using the basic shapes, which matches with the branding that we want to go with. So while I am working on the market stalls that I ended up liking the most and trying to see which one I like the best, so we're just gonna chit chat a little bit more about branding. So because I am the art director of Asians in the Arts, I actually created the brand guide for the organization because they didn't have one in the beginning when I got onto the team. Now the organization is also fairly new, so that's also another reason why they didn't have it to begin with. And having a branding guide is extremely important when you want to start out a business in general or an organization, just so everything is kind of streamlined whenever you're going to work on the brand with other designers, just so everything, is cohesive, as I said, streamlined. And it also helps figure out the voice of the brand itself, and so it kind of is the guide that you can refer back to again and again, just in case you might have forgotten the elements in order to stay consistent with what the brand is and the overall look and feel of it. Because each business kind of has their own type of personality, and you want to make sure that you're sticking with the personality of the brand is. So, as I said before, I wanted the brand to be modern and simple and bold, because that is kind of what was going on to begin with of Asians in the Arts when I first started on the team. Within the logo, they did have already some set colors, as well as the main font used for the logo, so I did incorporate that into the branding guide. And within those, I kind of wanted to refine the brand a little bit more. I just kind of thought what kind of font would be more well balanced with Asians in the Arts, keeping it contemporary. And so I went with the sans serif bold fonts, So when you make a brand guide, it includes fonts, colors, other rules of placements, what's appropriate for the brand, just so when a person actually looks at the brand, they're going to understand right away that that type of overall look and feel goes towards that certain brand or business. So that's why it's very crucial to have a brand guide so it's easily recognizable whenever people see the certain elements. Now with the icons that I have designed, I wanted to make sure to kind of have the same look and feel as the sans serif font that I use, the Helvetica Bold. So I made sure to kind of have the thickness of the line be the same as the font, just keep some consistency across the board, and so the eye travels along the logo pretty easily. Just a little shameless plug here, but if you enjoy my illustrations as well as my graphic design work, I do have an Instagram account where I post a lot more frequently than all my other social media platforms of all of my design work. So if you're interested in that, you can just check that out there. I have the link in the description box below. And if you really like my content and you want to help support me to consistently create creative content for all of you, I do have a Ko-Fi account in which you can support me over there, and I will greatly appreciate it. Now after I made the two types of market stall icons, I went ahead and chose the two that I like the most, and so I kind of just put them side by side just to figure out which one I ended up liking the most. So after I kind of set it all up and I checked out the other compositions all together, just trying to see which one I liked the most, whether I wanted the typography words to keep going, Asian Artist Marketplace and Directory, stacked or straight across. I kind of ended up going with more stacked look. I wanted the rectangular shape, so I pretty much messed with the kerning of the characters. And once I finished that, I kind of took all of the marketplace logos that ended up becoming drafts that I didn't like as much. I kind of just arranged them, which you can kind of see me doing here. And then the two that I ended up liking most in terms of composition, I just put them side by side just to kind of help me decide, because I was having issues with figuring out which one I liked the best. But then I ended up choosing the one on the right, but I still kind of wanted to play with the original icon design, so I decided, oh, what if I just try and make market stall stationary instead of having the wheel and handle so it wouldn't be portable. So I kind of lined up the lines a little bit more to have them more straight and all together. And once I finished that, I kind of compared the two again, trying to see which one I like the best, and then I will show you the reveal of what I chose. So these are the drafts that didn't make the cut. And as you can see, I went ahead with the actual first marketplace logo. So I did the original version, the colored version, and the inverse colored version.
So what are your thoughts on the logo that we just created? Let me know in the comment section below. So thanks for watching, don't forget to give this video a thumbs up, and also don't forget to subscribe so we can keep hanging out, and I shall see you in the next video. Bye!